After many years in business, I'm convinced that there is a single reason, a single primary reason why businesses fail, that is more prevalent than is widely accepted, that isn't talked about. And yes, it suits me, but it suits me because I've been on the inside watching it happen, and I see it and I observe it and I notice it. And it's a thread that needs to be pulled. The single biggest reason that most businesses, certainly small businesses, fail, in my view, is that business leaders are not marketing leaders. It's that simple. The business leader is typically someone who's very, very good at what they do. They're very good at revenue. They're very good at product development. They're very good at bringing everything together. They're very good at networking. They're very good at most of the pieces of the business that told them at some point when they were doing it for somebody else that they could do it better. And so they've gone out and they're growing their business. And of course, cash and pipeline are everything to them. But marketing is not important. And those business leaders who are brilliant at something are rarely brilliant at marketing. So we accept that growing the business, pipeline, all of those things are important. And we generally accept that most business leaders are not skilled in marketing. And then most businesses fail. For me, I think there's a convergence of a single problem there. And I don't think it's an insurmountable one to any business leader watching this. I actually think it's really easily solved, which is why I do what I do. And I'm not selling consultancy. For business leaders, it's a really tricky balance doing everything. You've got to run the people. You've got to build the business. You've got to keep the customers happy. You've got to find new customers. You've got to make sure the finances work. You've got to deal with the financial responsibilities of being a business owner, the people responsibilities, the technology responsibilities. There's 1,000 jobs to do. Marketing isn't one. For me, I think that balance is being redressed. I think we're seeing more business leaders who are marketing savvy do better in business. I think we're seeing marketing escalate up the corporate ladder. And we're starting to see CMOs at board level more than ever before. And we're seeing people who've come from the marketing stack become the ultimate business leader. I don't think that's an accident. What if business leaders want to take their marketing more seriously? Well, they either outsource it to an agency, which has a cost and some control lost, or they bring consultants, which is what I do some of the time, but it's not what I'm talking about today. But the reality is it's expensive, and you're buying a solution today, you're not buying a solution tomorrow. You're buying an improvement today, but you're not improving the business tomorrow because you're becoming dependent on an external provision, on an external service. And it's impossible to afford everything in the business. Everyone would love to have a marketing director, I'm sure. But a marketing director that's worth their salt isn't going to be cheap. You know, anything that's worth having isn't going to be cheap, and it's the same in marketing. Ultimately, there is another way, and that's the path that I'm treading and inviting others to follow. Marketing leadership is possible for business leaders. And I managed to take business leaders into marketing leadership in just a single day. Because after 20 years, I now know that there are 4 key things business leaders need to get their heads around to own their marketing. That doesn't mean they're going to have lots to do. That doesn't mean they're going to have more work. It just means they're going to have more control. Whoever does the work, they're going to have more control over that work that gets done and the people that are doing it for them, whether it's marketing consultants, whether it's agencies, whether it's internal staff. So through a process in one day of walking through a few key areas and getting to a sense of awareness around brand story, marketing strategy, marketing plan, and how to amplify social, or how to amplify everything through social, through a coaching and mentoring process that starts then and goes on through a peer-supported learning journey, which allows the business leader to learn not just from people like me, but from other people in other businesses, sometimes in similar spheres. Ultimately, it allows them to start out-tasking and outsourcing intelligently so that the jobs can get done. Because it's not the business leader's responsibility to be at the coalface doing everything and pressing every button. But how do you outsource something? if you don't understand the architecture behind it? How do you get someone to do something for you optimally if you don't know what optimal looks like? If that's you, it's not your fault. That's just the way business has always been. Marketing has never really been a fundamental core of business. But I think it's becoming one. And it's becoming one because we live in a more disrupted world where the barriers to entry to almost any profession are almost unlimited. There are no barriers virtually. Anyone can set up a company and launch a website and be present, selling into your space, distracting your prospects to take budget that could have gone to you really easily. So marketing is becoming more primary, definitely. It's definitely the case that marketing is becoming more primary now. There's no question in my mind. The question is, for business leaders, when are you going to become marketing leaders? Now, there is an easy way. It's not expensive. It's one day. If you want to know more, get in touch. The bottom line is, she who owns the pipeline owns the business. And the reverse is also true. If you own the business and you don't own the pipeline, if you don't know where your customers are coming from, if you don't know how much it costs to get them, if you don't have a great story to tell them to fill that pipeline, then your sales team are going to get bored very quickly. You're going to get angry at them. You're probably going to sack them because you'll think they're ineffective, but they don't have leads to follow up. They don't have a pipeline to serve. So ultimately, all you have to do is know enough. After all, how do you outrun a lion? Well, you don't have to outrun the lion. You just have to be faster than anybody else. And the same is true in business. You don't have to be Steve Jobs to win, but you just have to be slightly quicker, faster, better than your competition. And marketing leadership is a surefire way to do that.